latest breaking news.
We start this hour with breaking news out of Tarpon Springs. That's where at least one shrimp boat is on fire. We want you to take a look at this video sent to us by a local boat builder, Robert Goss. You can see smoke just pouring from the boat, what looks like the closest to the dock. Now, we've had some kind of confusion. Some people think the fire actually started on the Sky Marie, and that boat on the inside is the Carol Jean. Either way, it was a mess, and that boat on the outside, Captain Eddie, looked like it could have been next. Let's go right now to Bay News 9's Lori Davison, who is live in Tarpon Springs at the sponge docks. A lot of smoke there, Lori.
Oh yeah, Al, we are very close to this fire scene. I'm just going to move out of the way because basically this video, these pictures speak for themselves. You can see their firefighters are still battling this fire. I can actually see a skeleton of one of the boats. That is all that's left of that boat. The entire downtown area of Tarpon Springs near the sponge docks is absolutely blanketed with smoke out here. The fire department says that a shrimp boat caught on fire with 5,000 gallons of fuel on board about 7:45 tonight. Now, it has been quite challenging for firefighters because, of course, the boat is on the water, and so it's been hard to reach it. They've also been dealing with all that fuel, and then the fact that there are other boats and buildings nearby. Now, firefighters say that there's at least one other boat that is in danger. There was actually a third boat involved in all of this as well, but they managed to free that. And now we've got Edward Potter here. He actually is the owner of that third boat. And Edward, tell us what happened with your boat.
I got a call from my crew. My wife and I were having dinner, and they told me there was a fire down, thinking it was the Sky Marie, and the fire trucks were coming down Dodecanese.
Okay, thank you very much for talking to us. And again, just really quite a scene out here. Now, as far as we know, no one has been injured. They did put a call out, one of the fire supervisors, asking if all the units were okay, and they all said that they were. They do have quite a few units out here dealing with this, numerous agencies. They've even called the Coast Guard in. I just talked to a firefighter a little while ago. I said, "You're probably going to be out here for quite a while," and he said, "Oh yes, we will be out here most of the night." Al?
Laura, do you know if they evacuated any of the people that were in that area? Because we had some people that called us earlier that said there's a restaurant that's not too far from that area. Were they evacuated?
No, you know, in fact, as we were driving down here, down the main drag in Tarpon Springs, I still saw people in some of the restaurants, and I've got to tell you, there's quite a few people. In fact, we're just going to pan over here, show folks all the people that are standing out here. You can see it's gathered quite a crowd out here to watch all of this. So we are just really a few feet away from where this fire is occurring, and they are not keeping people away at all.
Yeah, and I don't remember the last time we had a fire down at the Tarpon Springs sponge docks. I mean, it's been a while. Lori, thank you so much. That fire, it was much more under control even a half hour ago. Those flames are obviously, they are roaring. That's why they brought back all the firefighters. They actually had firefighters that were on top of the that spray unit. There was a firefighter up there, and they just moved everybody back, and that fire is now roaring. They have more than 5,000 gallons of fuel that was in that situation, and now I'm sure they're very concerned about how much of the docks they're going to have burned away, and I think you could even hear some explosions in the background. Yeah, Chief, what happened out there now? We were looking at it, and it looked like about 10 o'clock you were starting to get it under control, and now it looks like that you've got fire that's spread out, what, 50, 60 yards?
Yeah, what happened was the boat kind of sank on the bottom, and in the process of doing such, it started spewing its diesel fuel, and now we've got diesel fuel running down the river, which of course is on fire, so now it's turned a bad situation into a worse situation.
There are just plumes and plumes of black smoke in the air here. You see all of those flames. There are flames on the water. People are just gathered here taking pictures. It's even hard for me to describe what this looks like, what it feels like, what it smells like. Really just an unbelievable fire out here right now.
Lori, I can't tell from here, but it looks like that the actual part of the dock is now burning. Is that right?
That's what it looks like. We've kind of raised our camera. We're now up on a platform. You can actually see one of the boats is tilted over to the side. They just look like skeletons. And the fire chief had told me a little while ago that at this point they're probably just going to let the boats sink. And then they do have hazmat crews out here to deal with all the fuel spill off, because of course that's a big concern when the boats sink and when you have a fire like this.
Well, but when we came up on you at 10:30, that must have been just after that boat sank, and the chief was telling us that once it went under the water, water, you had all that diesel fuel that then came to the surface, and then that started flowing down the river. And at a time there was a very large pleasure craft that was just to the left side of that picture, and you know, that looked like that was going to go up too.
Yeah, Alan, I got to tell you, the other thing that's beginning to look very concerning to me here is we've actually got sparks flying off of this. We've got buildings here as well, and those sparks are absolutely flying now towards the buildings. So you've got massive flames here, out of control, and you've got all these sparks now in the air flying towards buildings. And this is a very crowded area. You know, the Sponge Dock's very popular area, very crowded area, and we've got other boats out here as well. So, you know, this situation is just a very, very bad situation.
But let me tell you, in the last 2 hours, what a scene along the Anclote River there, the Tarpon Springs Sponge Docks, as the two of the boats sank, and then the diesel fuel on top of the water spread and started another fire. Let's go to the scene right now with Lori Davison. You can see what's going on right now. Lori, this is pretty dramatic stuff.
Oh, Al, really, it's almost unbelievable. The situation is literally getting worse. I am on a dock right now. We are literally right on the water, and I can show you this scene very, very well here. Now, we're going to pan over. Tim is showing you right now. These are the shrimp boats that are on fire. Basically, about 7:45 tonight, one of the shrimp boats caught on fire. It was tied to two other boats. Now, they managed to get one of those boats free. A tugboat took it out, but then we had the one boat that was completely on fire and a second boat over there that we're not sure of the status of that right now. They have been fighting this for hours now. It looked like it had calmed down a little bit, but then it got worse. We saw just black plumes of smoke going up in the air. The fire chief basically told me that they were pouring water on it. They were pouring foam on it. Absolutely nothing was working. And at that point, he said it looked like they would probably just have to let the boat sink and then deal with the runoff. Now, when all of that was happening, we began to see some of the diesel and some fire beginning to go down the river. Now, Tim is panning here to show you across the way from where we are, there is another fire out here. We cannot tell if this is on a boat or if it is just on a dock, but this has actually gotten worse in the last few minutes as well, and now we see firefighters over there pouring water and hosing that, and there was just a guy out here on the dock screaming, get away from the boat, and it looked like maybe some of the boat's owners or some people were over there walking over there trying to see what was happening or trying to put it out themselves, which obviously is not something that you want to do in this situation. Now, we have a lot of people out here watching all of this happening. I'm joined right now by Peter, and Peter actually lives here. Peter, tell me what you see and what you think about all this.
It's a lot of fire, yeah. I've never seen anything like this ever before, to be honest with you.
Thank you so much. And again, we're just showing you pictures of this second fire here that has started. Now they are dealing with that. We do see a lot of fire units out here. They're obviously going to be out here for quite a while dealing with all this. As far as we know, nobody has been injured in all this, though, Al.
Yeah, Lori, we were talking to the fire chief around 10:25 in that area when we were on the air here live, when all of a sudden he said that boat sank, which caused all the diesel fuel to come to the surface. And then we had a whole area probably 60 yards wide from the two boats that were burning all the way down to a couple of other luxury vessels that were down the line.
Yeah, and I got to tell you, and let's go back over, I guess, and show this area. When Tim and I were driving out here, the smoke from this fire, it's literally blanketing the entire downtown area of Tarpon Springs, the entire Sponge Dock. We were probably a good mile away, and we saw all of this smoke. It's just really unbelievable, and I can't even almost describe to you what it smells like out here, and you can just almost feel the smoke even standing this far away, feel the heat from it.
Yeah, now they must have been expecting something was going to happen because they have what was called a retreat alarm that sounded, and ironically you called me to tell me that that's what was going on, and not 2 or 3 minutes later did we see all those flames going down the river.
That's exactly what happened. I was actually getting ready to interview the fire chief on camera, and all of a sudden this alarm just started going off. This horn type of thing was sounding, and he said to me, look, Lori, I've got to go, and he absolutely ran off because, as he said, the retreat was sounding. And actually the fire chief is here now. He's going to, if I can get him to walk down these stairs right here, we can talk to him and get a live interview with him. We're kind of in a difficult area. He's walking down the stairs to come to us right now. And this is the fire chief here in Tarpon Springs. And we are live on the air, and I know you've been doing a lot of phoners with us, Chief. I know it's a very, very busy night. Tell us what the situation is here right now.
Well, right now we've got the boat that's on the bottom of the water or in the river, and what it's doing is spewing its 6,000 gallons of diesel into the water. So obviously the fire is traveling downstream. So we've got multiple units on the north side of the river that are going to be extinguishing some hot spots. We've got another fireboat on the way from the Coast Guard.
Let's go to Lori Davison, who joins us right now. Lori, still burning though, isn't it?
Yeah, it is still burning out, but it looks to me, from my vantage point, like it is getting a little bit better. You can see the scene there behind me. We got another big plume of smoke. I think the wind is now actually blowing the smoke towards us. I actually cannot even see the boat. There we go, because of all the smoke here. Literally, I'm getting a lot of water and a lot of smoke because we've just got a big gust of wind that's blowing it towards us. You can see there are still flames there. Part of the boat is in the water. They basically said that they've been trying to fight this all night. They had to just give up, actually, and they're just basically having to let this burn out and having to let this boat sink. Now, they did just bring in another water truck, and they actually have that across the river here, so they're going to be fighting this from two ways. They're fighting it from right on top of it, and then they're shooting water across the river at it, just trying to get this under control. Because they're afraid, that as the wind patterns change, that some of these flames then, sparks could spread and could affect their boats and could affect them as they maybe want to head out in the morning. I heard one of the boat owners talking about that.
Yeah, because for these guys' livelihood, they got to get out there, especially when the weather is decent like it has been in this area. And Lori, as far as we know, no other structures involved except, you wonder if there's going to be some dock damage as a result of this.
Oh, yeah, I think definitely. There's a dock across the way from where I'm standing that really was on fire. It's very difficult, obviously, in the dark to really see how bad that damage is. You can see some people walking around there is what I'm seeing right now, but not really sure how bad the damage is. But I'm sure when we have daylight tomorrow, we're going to see that there is more damage maybe than what we're seeing right now or think we're seeing.
It's midnight and we're still following breaking news here on Bay News 9 that started around 8 o'clock this evening at the Tarpon Springs Sponge Docks where a shrimp boat caught on fire. Spectacular video. Nobody hurt. That's the good news. The bad news is that a shrimp boat by the name of Sky Marie went up in flames and almost took some other boats along with it. Let's go to Lori Davison, who's joining us right now on scene. Lori, looks like they're getting things under control right now, but boy, bad news for the owner of the Sky Marie.
Yeah, the situation is getting better now. As you said, it looks like they are beginning to get things under control. We're seeing some of the firefighters beginning to pack up. Of course, they will be out here most of the night dealing with hot spots on this boat. But I am joined now by Billy Harris. He is the owner of the Sky Marie. It was named after his granddaughter. It has been his livelihood for many, many years. And Mr. Harris, just tell us right now what you're going through. I almost see tears in your eyes. I know how hard this really must be for you.
Well, losing my boat, I can handle that. I can always start over. But I worry about, the people around me and the boats that I own. And I want to apologize to the town of Tarpon Springs for if there's any damage that was done to any of the boats in the river, that the fire that my boat caused. And I also want to thank and appreciate everything that the Tarpon Springs Fire Department has done. They've been here working for 5 hours as hard as they could work to try to save my boat, plus try to save the boats that were beside it. And they did everything they could do, and I'm just thankful. And I want to apologize, like I say, to all the people in Tarpon Springs. If my boat did any damage in this river, I'm sorry.
And what are you going to do now?
Well, I got a lot on me right now. I don't really know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to get back into it or not, and or even be financially able to get back into it. I'm going to have to just try to get this mess cleaned up in the river and hope I can get some support to do that, just to get the boat out the river and get, back where the fishing boats can go in and out the river, because right now my boat's blocking the channel and a lot of boats can't get by. So we're going to have to try to get a barge in here and a crane and pick this thing and cut it up and try to get it on a barge where the river can open back up.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, a lot of commercial fishermen don't have insurance because once they pay the boat off, the margins are so slim, a lot of them can't afford it. And then when something like this comes on, amazing that he's apologizing to the city of Tarpon Springs for a fire that we don't even know how it started right now. Lori, so how long do they think they're going to continue to pour water on that? Do they know?
Well, Al, as you can see here, we're going to pan back and show you. They actually made us move from that real close spot where we were because the winds are changing, and there was some danger that this fire could spark back up again. But it looks at this point like they do have it mostly under control. I'm not seeing any flames from this vantage point. They are still spraying water on it, but we are beginning to see some of the fire trucks moving out. But as I said, I think they will be out here most of the night. Now they do also have to deal with the fuel that is, spilled because of this. They're going to have hazmat teams out here, I think, most of the night trying to do that part of the cleanup.
All right, Lori, thank you so much.